Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to our ChatGPT webinar, which we are doing on a monthly basis at the moment. Okay, I'm going to dive right in. Firstly, what you'll see on the screen there is one of my favorite sayings, which is agents will not be replaced by technology, but they will be replaced by other agents that use technology. And this is just a fact. So we've got to keep up with the times. And so congratulations to all of you who are here, because that's what you are busy doing. Okay, just a quick something about ourselves. And there's a reason I do this, is firstly so that you know, okay, myself and my wife, Lydia, have been in real estate since 2005. We were 16 years at Remax, now 5 years at EXP. The reason I'm telling you that we have been in real estate for so long is so that you know I am not Mr. ChatGPT, I'm not Mr. AI. I am actually just a real estate agent, but I do enjoy technology and I try to stay up to date, and that's where I come from. But I'm sure you will get a lot of value out of today. Right, so why do we do this training? People often ask us. Well, firstly, we do it to empower our own agent team. Well, within EXP, we've got a group of more than 230 agents nationally now ourselves. So that's our own group. So I try to stay up to date with technology so that I can, help them out and show them the latest things, because they don't always have the time. And then also just networking and sharing. We've always been in a collaborative market where we are. The agents in our market welcomed us with open arms when we started in real estate. And so it's always been. So, what we believe is what goes around comes around. So whenever I can help or Lydia can help people, it's the same thing. Okay. To start off with, I just want you all to please understand that in the audience today, obviously you guys all filled in a registration form, and on that you did say what your proficiency or your knowledge of ChatGPT is. By far the majority who attend this specific webinar do react that they don't use ChatGPT at all, although very many do, and some of them use it more for the basic things, a little bit of listing descriptions and things like that. And then there are a few who use it for more advanced things. I just want to mention that obviously we do have mixed skill levels, from beginners to advanced users of ChatGPT. So this webinar, what I do is I start out very simple, and then we sort of build it up. But eventually we do use a lot of real world sort of real estate examples. But we do get into the more advanced functionality of ChatGPT later on as well, which many people don't know about. What you do need to know is you do not need to be techie to win with AI. You will see today that's the whole purpose of this, which we'll go to the next slide actually, is what you'll walk away with today. This is the purpose of this webinar, is I want to demystify ChatGPT for everybody. I want you to be able to use it daily with confidence. You must realize that it's a natural conversation you have actually with a very, very clever machine. So it's a natural conversation. You're going to chat to it like you would chat to your smartest friend, or even smarter than your smartest friend. Okay, and then we're going to reveal the whole power of it. So we're going to start with the basic users, but then go into more brainstorming ideas with ChatGPT, and then the advanced uses, which you're going to see later on. Okay, as Lydia mentioned just now, questions are welcome, but please keep them till after the presentation, because we have found if we allow questions during the presentation, we get sidetracked and everyone doesn't necessarily get around to all the content. And very often questions will be about something that's actually going to be answered a little bit later on. But after the presentation, we'll open up. We're available for questions and answers and just a general discussion in any case, if you would like. Right, I always start off with this before I do any technology type presentations, is that the heart of real estate is people and relationships. It's always been that way, and I believe it's always going to stay that way. It's very important to know. Technology doesn't take that away. Okay, so the heart of real estate, people and relationships, but the backbone of real estate these days is technology and systems. Because what I always say is basically strong relationships, those personal relationships, that creates momentum in your business. We all know that. But technology will allow you to multiply that and scale your business, which you're going to see today just from the ChatGPT part of things. Okay, in my opinion, I know real estate is a very multifaceted profession. We all know that. But there's, in my opinion, three things that are very important for success. These are not the only three things, but they are very important. So three pillars for success. Firstly, again, Don't get away from this. Personal relationships. So that's pillar number one. You've got to have personal relationships with people. You've got to build trust, and that trust and the connection with people is always what matters most. But then we've got to keep on consistently generating leads. So obviously you do know a certain amount of people, but you've got to keep on generating leads, new leads that could possibly use you in their property related business later on, because today's leads will fuel tomorrow's business. But then what many people neglect is you generate leads. Remember, you generate leads in many ways. We're not even going there now. Whether you do cold calling, whether you're just out and about meeting people at school functions and your kids' sports things or whatever, community get-togethers, or whether whether it's Property 24 inquiries that you collect and put in your email database, whether you're connecting with people on social media, all of that is lead generation. Whether you go knock on doors. We're not going to go into what types of lead generation you do, but once you've generated leads, the third pillar is very important and often neglected. So we sit with this database of leads somewhere, depending on what type you generate, but we don't necessarily nurture them. So you've got these leads and they get built up over years. Now you've got to nurture those leads. In other words, it's very important to stay in contact with your leads so that they are always aware that you're still in the business and that you are in the property business, and that when they are ready to transact in any way in property, by buying or selling or whatever, you are the person that comes to mind. And if you're not consistently nurturing those leads and staying top of mind, you will not be the one that comes to mind. Okay, so golden rule for lead generation and lead nurturing is to time block. We've got a time block space in our diaries. We always hear that. It's like a doctor's appointment. You've got to put it in your diary on a daily basis or 3 times a week. Early in the morning is preferable, I guess. And there's where you're generating new leads and you're busy nurturing the old leads. Okay, now how do we stay in touch or nurture these leads? So again, okay, your personal contacts, your friends, people you know at schools or in community get-togethers, whatever, that's easy. I mean, every now and then you will have personal contact with them. So you will be having conversations with them. You could have coffee dates with them. You could be visiting them, whatever. So again, the personal ones is easy, but all the other leads that you collect, depending what you do, how do you stay in touch with them where you're not necessarily on a personal basis, that you're speaking to them every now and then naturally? So for those people, what we've got to realize is we need to decide where are they spending their time so that we can go and meet them where they are at, if that makes any sense. So where are people generally spending their time? They spend 80% of their time daily online, whether it's on social media, or whether it's on their emails, whether it's on WhatsApp, very important, WhatsApp, wherever they are spending their time, we've got to go and meet them there. Okay, so how do we meet them there? This we do by creating content that will appeal to them and that will help them out in certain ways, a sort of a mix of content that we can then now put out on social media, on emails to our email database, on our WhatsApp statuses and our WhatsApp profiles and our WhatsApp catalogs. Again, if you don't know how to use WhatsApp Business, you really need to find out. We have also run a course on that previously. Very important, and it's a new social media channel almost for some people, so that's where they are spending their time. Okay, so content marketing, that's our secret weapon. We've got to create content which we can put out on the various platforms, wherever people are spending their time, so that they can see us and we can stay up to date, top of mind. So what type of content? It can be a whole mix. These are just a few examples. So content could be local news about your area, so local news and events about the area or town or city you live in. Property showcasing. When you've got something that's for sale, when you've sold something, showcase that. I mean, we don't just want to put out nice things. People must still realize you are successful in the business. So this is what I've got for sale. Showcase it on your social media and all over, plus the solds and so on. Educational tips. This is just educating people about various things. It could be about the property sales process, about various aspects of property, but it could also just be general thing, educating them about daily life, about in and around the home, gardening, whatever, recipes. And then personal posts. I'm a firm believer. There are obviously two schools of thought obviously on this. Some people like to keep their personal lives private, and they say that their social media will only be on a business page. I tend to differ because I believe we're in the personal relationship game. We should have nothing to hide, I don't think. And personal posts. So if you've got, let's just talk about Facebook, for instance, or Instagram, or whichever social media you're active on. So you've got local news and events you're putting out, you've got property showcasing, you've got educational tips, a whole mix of content. But every now and then, some personal posts about you, about your family, about what you're busy with, about your hobbies, about your sport you're doing, whatever, that you put out there, that just helps people to also relate to you as a person, not just a business. So I'm a firm believer of that, and you'll see we will harp on that quite a bit today as well. So the whole point of putting out all this type of content that people will see regularly is people will do business with those that they know and like and trust. And by putting this out regularly, people get to know you, and they get to like you, and they get to trust you. So that's very, very important. Of course, content marketing, we've always been told we should be doing content marketing, but it's not always that easy, right? So our biggest challenges with content marketing is, firstly, we've got limited ideas. So it's easy for me to put those 4 topics there, but you've got to think, now, what should I put out there? What type of content? What should I put out today and next week and tomorrow? So we've got limited ideas. And then even when we do get a bright spark idea, we think, okay, maybe I should put out something about this. Then again, that's an idea, but now we've got a creative block. I mean, what do we really create? How should it look? What should the writing be like, etc. And then the old classic, we've never got enough time. We are busy, and I realize that. So we're always busy, and time is a problem. So especially when you've got limited ideas and creative block, it takes a lot of time to try and come up with ideas and create content. So time is a big, big issue. But now, what if one solution could actually solve all of this for us? And this is where we're very lucky in today's day and age, is we have got artificial intelligence, which has now come to the fore. So this helps us to work smarter and not harder. And this is what can help us to really put out content there on a regular basis. But the problem again with that is, now that since sort of artificial intelligence really came to the fore, it's been around for a long, long time, but it's mainly been used on us by people outside. It's been used on us. It hasn't been available for us as the general public or as estate agents to use. But since ChatGPT came suddenly onto the forefront and it's sort of empowered the normal person to be able to use AI, now suddenly AI is everywhere. Okay, now, I mean, you can't even go to Facebook or Instagram, or you can't go anywhere. You can't even go in your email without seeing AI this and AI that. So it's becoming overwhelming. Everybody's promising you something, and they want to sell you something. They want to sell you a program or an app. And of course, now everything is AI driven. So that's getting very busy, very overwhelming. We're bombarded with all these things. So what we tend to do usually when things get overwhelming, we rather just avoid it completely, shelve that idea, and let's just carry on where we were. Okay. And this is where my advice is this. That's why we've got this webinar. Forget all the AI for now and concentrate on ChatGPT. So it's simple, it's powerful. You're going to see today, and it's because it was the sort of forerunner of the general AI, it's probably going to stay that way. And they're bringing out new functionality all the time. And what you're going to see today is how easy it is to use ChatGPT. It's as easy as, if you can use WhatsApp, then you can also use ChatGPT. You're going to see it's like chatting to a friend on WhatsApp, basically. You chat, they answer, you respond, they respond, you brainstorm, you're just speaking to each other and going back and forth. And ChatGPT is exactly like that. So it's like chatting to a friend, but or to a personal assistant, or you can treat it as your marketing expert or whoever you need at the moment and on that day. Okay. So here's a bit of a sort of a definition of ChatGPT. Imagine your funniest and smartest friend who's always available, knows almost everything on the internet, can explain things in a way that makes sense, and can magically turn your rough ideas into polished content. Congratulations, you have met ChatGPT. Okay, still just a bit on the intro side. What is the difference between ChatGPT and Google? So ChatGPT isn't simply another search engine like Google as we knew it, okay, or as still know it. So Google simply gives you links. You ask for something and gives you a whole lot of links, a whole lot of websites, and then you can then go into each website and see whether you find what it is what you were actually looking for. ChatGPT, on the other hand, almost does that work for you and comes back with an educated answer based exactly on what you asked. So it gives you educated answers. It can give you creative ideas. It can reason with you back and forth and brainstorm with you. This is what you're going to see today, the functionality and the ease of use with ChatGPT. Okay, what you do need to know is ChatGPT has a free version and a paid version. Now, most of what you'll see today is available on the free version. Some of it, especially when we come to image creation and image analysis and so on, that's quite heavy on their resources, their computing resources. So some of that is also available on the free version, but they might sort of cap you every now and then. So if you use that a lot and it's very resource intensive, they cap you and they say, okay, wait, you've got to hold on now. You can use it again in 3 hours or something like that. The paid version, on the other hand, has much less limits, so you can use it a lot more, and it also does have extra functionality. Some of that I will also demonstrate today. So it's up to you. I mean, definitely start with the free version because you can go a long way on the free version. And then if you get to the point where you see you're using it really a lot and it's sort of part of your daily life, then you can switch over to a paid version. The basic paid plan is about $20 a month. So it's probably just under 400 Rand a month at this stage. I'm on that, and you will actually see when you start using ChatGPT, especially if you continue, you're going to see how much it can mean to you on a daily basis and how productive it actually makes you and how much time it saves you. That 400 Rand a month is actually not a lot. But nevertheless, you don't need to pay that initially until you think it's necessary. Somebody is not muted. I'm just going to mute them. Thanks. There you go. Okay. There you go. Right, so free and paid version. Then what you also need to know is you can use ChatGPT on your PC, okay, on your laptop, PC. So you go to www.chatgpt.com. It's very important that you use the correct one. Because since ChatGPT came out, a lot of knockoffs have also come out and a lot of rip-offs. So make sure you're on the correct website, which is chatgpt.com. And then you can also use it on your phone. And you're going to see today how sort of the cross-device, how excellent that is as well. And some functionality that is on the phone is excellent. But so there again, you would go to your Play Store or the Apple Store, depending, and you would search for ChatGPT. And again, you're going to find hundreds, if not thousands, of ChatGPT apps, and a lot of them are rip-offs. You've got to make sure you get the correct one. So you find the ChatGPT app. You'll see everyone. They've got to tell you who developed it or who created it. So you want to find one that's not created by ABC Technologies or whatever, Sputnik, or whatever. You want to find something that's created, the app that is created by OpenAI. Okay, OpenAI is the developer of the original ChatGPT, so make sure you get the app that's created by OpenAI. Okay, this is what it looks like on your PC when you first go to chatgpt.com. So obviously, if you got an account, you can log in with your email address and password. If you haven't got an account yet, you simply sign up. It's free and create an email address. Using your email address and a password, you create a login for yourself. Okay, then once you're in ChatGPT, still just a bit on the intro side here, this is what it looks like. So over there where you see I've written prompt, that's like a text box. That is where you basically type in anything that you want ChatGPT to know or to respond to. So you're actually prompting ChatGPT for answers. And you're going to hear that word a lot because people are always going to tell you about it's all about the prompt. And the better your prompt, the better the results you're going to get. And it's all true. But they're going to try and sell you prompts. Like here are 150 real estate prompts for real estate agents for $50 or whatever. Not necessarily. You'll see today. You will get better at prompting. But at the start, we start basic, we start simple, and we'll get there anyway. Okay, then on the left-hand side, you'll see I've written there on the blue is your ChatGPT history. So first time you log in, there will be nothing because it's your first time. But then as you chat to ChatGPT, every single conversation you have with it is then stored there. So you can go and reference it later, and you can also actually search by keyword and find previous chats that you had. Okay, so a few tips to start off. Whatever content you get back, whatever results or answers you get from ChatGPT, obviously always verify the facts, especially if you're going to be using it to put out there as content, because it comes from you now, right? So you must at least be confident that it's all correct. Although with ChatGPT these days, it's become so clever over the year or two or whatever it is that it's been around, that I found, it's very seldom wrong in any case. Okay. Choose familiar topics so that you would know if there's something not right in the content, because you're going to have to be able to back your content. And then, of course, anything you get, you can add your personal touch. But you're also going to see that ChatGPT actually remembers all your conversations with it, and eventually it becomes more personal, and the content it creates also sort of becomes more in your style. Okay, so as I said, you're going to hear a lot that it's all about the prompt. So obviously, the better instruction you give ChatGPT up front, the better the result will be, and the more sort of correct the result will be for what you are looking for. But don't worry about that. Initially, keep it simple, and you might get results from it, and then you think, oh, it's not quite there. Then you start a conversation, and you'll get there anyway. So as Tony Robbins says, complexity is the enemy of execution. If you think it's difficult to speak to ChatGPT, you're not going to do it. Just start out, and I'm going to demonstrate that today. Okay, and then practice will make perfect, and you will get better. So after a bit of practice, as you see there, you will soon learn with your prompts from the start to be more clear and specific, provide better context, define the actual format you want the information given back to you in, using role-based prompts, telling ChatGPT what it should act as when it's giving you information, etc. Okay, but we'll get to that later. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually go live, onto ChatGPT, and just start demonstrating firstly, just very much in general, how easy it is to speak to ChatGPT and how it is like a friend. Right. So there, as you see, there's ChatGPT. I'm live on it now on the website. Maybe I should zoom in a bit. Okay, let's just start with a very, very basic conversation, just so you can see it's really like chatting to a person. Okay, let me just get in there properly. So let's just say, okay, hi, ChatGPT, how are you today? Here we go. I didn't even spell correctly, but it will be all right. It makes out what I'm trying to say. There we go. There's the answer. Hey, Andre, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Of course, it knows I'm Andre by now. How about you today? Are you busy with listings or catching up on some admin and coffee? So again, in the beginning, it wouldn't have said these types of things to me, but by now it definitely knows I'm a real estate agent. Okay, let's just say whatever, just so you can see it's really like chatting to someone. Trying to wake up. It's still trying to wake up. Okay, so I'm still trying to wake up. Okay, so ChatGPT says, haha, I know that feeling, Andre. That first cup of coffee sometimes takes way too long to kick in. Are you easing into the day at home or heading out for appointments later? Something I could carry on. It's trying to strike a conversation with me. I can either carry on with that conversation or just say, let's just say, ask it, have you had any coffee yet? Just so you start seeing this whole conversation. Okay, have you had any coffee yet? ChatGPT says not yet, though if I could, I'd probably be on my second cup by now. How about you, Andre? Are you still on one cup, on cup one or halfway? Anyway, and so it carries on. So the whole idea here is just that you can see it's really very much of a conversation. It's really like chatting to a friend, and you can get more advanced and you can go into real estate topics, etc. Okay, I've typed out one or two things just so I don't have to type because they're longer. So let's go into something different. Let's just say, okay, I've had enough fun with ChatGPT. Let's ask it. I'm pasting here just because I typed it up front. First, I need some advice for the weekend. My cousin is visiting from Joburg, and I need to show him a bit of Cape Town. Do you have any ideas? Okay, so off goes ChatGPT, accesses the whole internet and tries to find things that I could do on the weekend with my cousin. And there you go, it gives me a whole lot of options. So this is now starting to give me facts and things based on what I asked. I wasn't very specific. It just said he's coming to Cape Town. Okay, Saturday, maybe you can do this. Mountain, Signal Hill and a coffee stop. Mention some coffee shops. Go to the weird V&A waterfront. Camps Bay for sundowners. And so it carries on. Sunday, maybe to one of the two of the wine farms, and it mentions them. And evening, go to Cliff Street House, etc. It's just mentioning. I haven't given it details of what I'd like to do, so it's just giving me general things. Let's say I say, okay, my cousin is coming. Okay, That's okay. I like those things, but I can now realize, let's get more specific. And I say, my cousin is an adrenaline junkie. I'm keeping it short here, but so you also realize that even short prompts will work. My cousin is an adrenaline junkie. Okay, let's see if it changes things. Then you've got the right city for him, Andre. Cape Town is basically an adventure playground wrapped in scenery. Okay, so now it starts changing. Now it gives me Saturday, paragliding off Signal Hill, then a bit of coffee and breakfast. Then in the afternoon, abseiling down Table Mountain. Alternatives is Atlantis dunes for sandboarding or quad biking. So now it changes things. So obviously, as I said, at the start, I said my cousin's coming to Cape Town and he's an adrenaline junkie, so give me a good mix. I would have got this immediately. Anyway, shark caging in Gansbaai gives me jet boats at the waterfront and so on and so forth. So again, all this just to prove to you how we can speak to ChatGPT. All right. Now, I want to get into just a bit of real estate related stuff, keeping it very simple still. I'm going to copy another prompt here. Okay, so we had enough fun and I've done a couple of personal things. I'm going to go to a new chat. So you see, I just click up top there, new chat. And then my previous chat will actually be here on the last chat. If you look on the left, if I click there, it'll take me back to that whole chat. So I could refer to it later. Now I'm going to a new chat and let's just start something real estate related. Very, very vague. I'm a real estate agent and I want to improve my business and my visibility by creating regular online content. Can you help? Okay, very vague, but nevertheless, it's going to do its best and it's going to start giving me ideas. So here it says, absolutely, that's what I do best. Let's start by mapping out how to improve your business visibility through consistent, high-impact online content, specifically tailored for you as a Durbanville based. Okay. So firstly, it says, okay, now it's giving you a whole sort of wraparound. It didn't ask for anything specific. It says, right, firstly, you must define your content strategy. We can build it around a couple of pillars, such as homeowner education, so content about that, local lifestyle and community content, content about market insights like updates on interest rates, etc. And so it carries on. Then it gives you a couple of ideas of that's a type of content. Now, in what form? You could possibly make short form videos or carousel posts or infographics, blog articles, email newsletters, and so on. So it's now giving you a whole broad layout. Now you could go and refine onto that if you're starting out and say, yeah, okay, I like that. Let's do some educational posts and let's do newsletters or whatever, and you can start asking it. But yeah, it's giving you an idea of a sort of a simple weekly plan. I'm not going to go into that too much right now. I just want you to get the idea. Even gives you some tools which will help you to create the content, like Canva Pro, ChatGPT, obviously, and so on and so forth. And so it carries on. At the end, it'll always ask you if you want something else. So would you like me to create a 5-week content plan for you? And you can say, yes, please do that. And you're going to get a whole content plan. Or do you want to start with a brand visibility checklist and so on? So here you could either say, yes, please do that, or say, let's get something more in the line of this or of that, or give me a whole post about things, a couple of posts about things you can do in and around Cape Town, or give me a whole series of posts about why you would want to live in Durbanville, or whatever. Or you can go educational route. Give me a whole series of posts explaining the whole buying and selling process to people. Okay, so that gives you an idea. Now we're not going to carry on with that right now. I'm going to go back to the slideshow. We can only cover so much in one session, so I'm sort of hopping around a bit. But okay, give me 1 minute. Sorry, almost there. There. Okay, presentation, there we go. No, wrong again. There we go. Okay. So what we need to know is you can create content, use ChatGPT to create contents about anything. And we're not going to be only harping on content today. We're going to go much further. So you could create content. Obviously, you can create your agent biography using ChatGPT. We're going to look at that just in a simple text format. Listing descriptions. I know many people use it, but let's get some other takes on it as well. So you can use it for newsletters, email newsletters for your email database, for articles, YouTube scripts, social media content and posts of any type and on any platform. Email newsletters, rewriting content, previous content, rewrite it in different formats, make it shorter, split it up, prospecting scripts, creating any type of ad you need. So you can use ChatGPT to create any type of content. You're going to see a lot of that today. And then email and WhatsApp responses. Really, this has helped me so much, and it will help you. When you're thinking of something and you're going to reply to someone, you just post that in and say, this is what I want to say, just help me. And then you see how beautifully and professionally it'll write it for you. And you can tweak it, of course, for your personal stuff. Client communication. Okay, then later on, we're going to look at actually analyzing documents, giving it documents which ChatGPT will then analyze for you, images, and creating images and much more. Okay. For the moment, let's go on. I'm going to do a bit of the agent biography, a bit of listing, just a few examples. All this again, just to show how easy it is to get ChatGPT to help you out. Okay. Right, agent biography. This is all on the slideshow. I'm not going to go in live for this. So if I were to ask ChatGPT something stupid and vague, what will it do? Here's a very, very vague prompt. Please help me to create a professional and engaging biography that I can use to promote myself on online platforms and social media. So I haven't given it information and so on. I'm just asking it to help me. It does know that I'm a real estate agent. Okay, then it's going to do its best. It aims to please. Okay, so it's going to sort of go out there and think, okay, what would a biography for a good real estate agent look like? And then it creates one for you. So there it says, okay, here's a biography. I'm passionate about connecting people with their perfect homes. I'm a dedicated real estate agent committed to delivering exceptional service. I've got a strong focus on honesty and transparency. And so it carries on. Whether you're purchasing your first home or expanding in your investment portfolio, I offer expert advice. So very generic. So this is probably what you'd see many agents' profiles would look something like this. It's sort of, I'm your trusted estate agent, you know, in Durbanville or in wherever. Okay, so I realized, okay, that doesn't help much. That's very generic, but I could actually take that and copy and paste it and then just add to it or tweak it a bit or make it more personal. At least I've got something to work on. But that would be stupid because obviously ChatGPT can help me. So now, okay, now I've realized that first prompt was a bit vague, so the answer I got wasn't exactly what I'm looking for. So let's say now I'd say, okay, well, I like that, but here's some more information. Now give it more information, not written fancily or nicely, just facts. So I say, right, my name is Vorster. I've been a real estate agent in Durbanville in the northern suburbs since 2005. I'm married to my lovely wife, Lydia, and we have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. I love living in Durbanville. I have a degree in accounting. I specialize in residential property. I believe in honesty and integrity. I have extensive digital marketing background. And then just again, so you know, you can tell it the format. You can tell it anything. I say, okay, please keep it to under 500 words. No specific reason, but just because I wanted to. Okay, so now I've got some very factual information about me. Now it starts throwing, now it's going to personalize it more for me, but it's going to write it beautifully and it's going to be very, very well written. So here it goes now. My name is Vorster. I've been in real estate. Okay, over the years, I've had the privilege of helping countless families buy and sell their homes, always guided by the principles I value most: honesty, integrity, and professionalism. It's taking the things I said and starts coloring it in. I'm married to my lovely wife, Lydia, and together we have 4 amazing children, 2 boys and 2 girls, who keep our lives full of energy and joy. You see, it colors it in, just makes it more attractive. I said I love living in Durbanville, but for my biography, it says, Durbanville has been more than just a home for us. It's where we've built our family and our friendships and our careers. I truly love living here and believe it's one of the most special places in the Western Cape to call home. You see how I take that basic information, I like Durbanville, and it starts making me more relatable to the other people in my market. I simply said I had a degree in accounting. Now look how it adapts that as well, sort of to the real estate environment. So it says, I hold a degree in accounting, which provides a solid background when advising clients on one of the most important investments they'll ever make. And so it carries on. So it takes the information I give, sort of makes it real estate related, colors it in. And this is now a beautiful, really well written biography. And what I should have started out by saying is your biography is so important. Generally what happens is when you join real estate for the first time, Or otherwise, if you move from one company to the next, then they've got to get your sort of info out there. They've got to create a profile for you on their website, and that might feed through to probably 24 or whatever. And you quickly go to Facebook and Instagram and you want to update that you're a real estate agent. So then they say to you, let's say your new company says, okay, we need some information about you. And there you go. You quickly write something. I'm Andre, and I've got to be in accounting, and I love people. I love helping people, and I love living in Durbanville, and that's it. And now that they take it because you're in a hurry, you want to get started now. And that sits on the internet forever. Okay. Now you're busy doing valuations for people, and there's maybe 4 agents doing a valuation for a specific person. What they do when they get that back, they obviously look at that, and they do obviously judge who you are, but they also want to see how professional you are. That which you're not telling them. Or if you're telling them, they don't know whether they can believe it. Then they go and stalk you online, all right? And then that's what they find. And that sits there for years. So having a good biography out there is really, really good for your image when people are looking for real estate agents in the area. Okay, I'm going to take it a step further. Just again, so you can see this is a conversation, and you can just chop and change with ChatGPT and look at this now. So I said, okay, take that same biography, and just for fun, can you make it more humorous and less than 250 words? Okay, the less than 250 words, again, just to prove a point that it will be done. But can you make it more fun? Now look at this. Now it's the same biography, and it's made it more humorous. So now it says, I am married to Lydia, who's the brains and the beauty of this operation. And we have 4 kids. Yes, 4. So believe me, I know how to negotiate and mediate and survive chaos without losing my cool or my car keys. Then it says, I've been a real estate agent in Durbanville since 2005, back when interest rates were wild and TikTok was just the sound that a clock made. Then it says, I've got a degree in accounting, which means I understand works like amortization, but mostly I use my powers to explain transfer costs without making clients cry. I also have a background in digital marketing because I like sold signs. I don't just list homes, I launch them like Beyonce drops an album. I believe in absolute honesty, even when the avocado tiles are not vintage chic and that bright purple future wall is more crime scene than creative. And so it carries on. So you see how I don't know, even know what to say. Just back and forth with ChatGPT, and you can tell it anything and it'll get back to you with it. And this is just the start. Okay, so we've been there. Now, if you don't know this, I'm using it on the biography, but if you want something from ChatGPT and you're not really sure how to ask it what you want, then ask ChatGPT to ask you questions about things so that it can answer what you thought you wanted it to answer. If that makes any sense at all, I don't know if it made sense to myself. So look at this, again from a biography. So now you think, I don't even know where to start. So you say, I'm a real estate agent in South Africa, and I want to create a biography to use on online platforms and social media. Please will you ask me any questions that you need answered so that you can create a professional and engaging biography. So no matter what context you ask this type of question, now it'll go to, okay, you want to, so ChatGPT goes out there and it says, right, you want to create a biography for a real estate agent. So it goes out there and it goes and sources what seems to be the best biographies that are out there of the most successful agents, and it starts getting an idea of what should be in a good real estate agent's biography. Now it'll go and compile questions to ask you so that it'll get the correct answers from you so that it can personalize the biography based on that. And so there it goes. We're not going to go deep into this. It says, fantastic. Please will you answer these questions? Now you'll see it starts asking firstly just questions about you, your full name, where are you based, how long have you been in real estate, which areas or types of properties do you specialize in? Is it residential or luxury? Do you work independently or are you part of a company such as EXP or Pangolin or CF, etc.? What's your educational background? What are your key professional strengths? It always gives you examples. And so it carries on, personal touch, etc. I'm not going to go in depth into this. How long would you like the bio to be, and so on and so on. So it's going to ask you a whole lot of questions. Then based on that, it goes and colors it in again and creates a perfect biography for you. It's beautifully written, well written, really professional, but also personalized for you. Okay, so that's an example of that. As I said, there you always double check for accuracy. That's for any information you get. Okay, I'm going to move on to a quick sort of examples of listing descriptions, just so you get the idea there as well. So again, first time on ChatGPT, I'm very vague. I don't really know where to start. So I say, please write a listing description for my 4-bedroom home in a Valmarie Park in Durbanville. So there's no information there, really, for it to work on. But you'll realize now when you get the answer that ChatGPT is clever. At least whatever information you give it, it will use. So obviously the first 4 bedrooms it will use, but just based on the fact that it's a 4-bedroom home in Valmarie Park in Durbanville, which is a fairly upmarket suburb in Durbanville, you will see that it's not going to go and describe a 2-bedroom or a 4-bedroom apartment or townhouse. It's going to realize, okay, those goes out and looks what type of listings do you generally find in Valmarie Park. So it's going to create one of those for you. It's going to do its best. So we're not going to go into depth in this, but it actually creates one. So now this is very generic. So it's going to say, okay, it's got 4 spacious bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and it gives a description. Obviously not necessarily accurate because you didn't give it any accurate information. So now you could take that once again, copy and paste it, and go and change it yourself, because at least it's well written to start off with. But that would be stupid again. You should rather give it more information. Now, I haven't given it a lot more information, but let's just say I tell it, okay, I actually like that, and most of it is accurate. The bathrooms and kitchens have, however, been luxuriously renovated. And I say, okay, it doesn't have however many garages it said, but it's actually got 3 garages, and the garden is more than 2,000 square meters, and there's a borehole. Just a bit of extra information. It'll incorporate that. The more I give, the more it will incorporate. Okay, so now it'll do that. It'll incorporate it, and we're not going to go harp onto that. So it just changes the details that I've asked it to change. But now again, this you could almost use for any listing description if you don't know where to start. Please ask me a series of questions to gather the necessary information about any specific listing so that you would be able to create a compelling but accurate listing description for me. And I put in there of approximately 400 words. Okay, so now again, it goes out there, it decides who are the most successful agents. It gathers that information very, very quickly and looks at their listings and decides, okay, this is what a good listing description in general should look like. And it will ask you the necessary questions so that when you provide it, it'll be able to create one for your property. So there it goes again, asking you questions. You just answer them. So firstly, basic information, what's the address, etc., layouts and features, outdoor features, parking and security, special highlights, location, about where the property is located, and the areas and schools. And so it carries on asking you questions about this property. You just quickly answer those. Factually, you don't have to be clever, you don't have to make it sound nice, you just answer the facts, and it'll go and create the proper listing description for you. Okay, then of course you can take that again, just double check the information and so on. All right, so what you've already started to see is you go back and forth and you can chop and change and you can ask almost anything from ChatGPT, and it is really like, in this case, speaking to your whatever, your copywriter or your social media marketer or whatever. What you need to know is you can transform content for different purposes and audience. So any content that it gives to you, you can change. You can say rewrite it in more words or fewer words. Convert it to numbered lists or bullet lists. Again, what I've written here, this is just a couple of my ideas that I'm giving. There is no textbook. You ask it for anything. Okay. You can ask it to transform it into table formats or into different languages. ChatGPT has the best translation available. You can go and try that. Go and put something in English in Google, translate it to Afrikaans, and go and put that same wording in English in ChatGPT and translate it to Afrikaans, and you'll see that ChatGPT is much more sort of apt and correct and real everyday Afrikaans than Google. That's because billions of users are using ChatGPT every single day, and it's learning all the time. Okay, then you can, on the right there, you can target it to specific audiences. So let's say you wanted something simplified for first-time buyers, or you want to elevate it because it's for luxury clients, or adapt it for different age groups. Try this. Take anything that's even technical information. Say, please, will you rewrite that so it's understandable for a 5-year-old child? And you'll be amazed at how it will transform the content so that it is understandable for a 5-year-old child. Actually, sometimes I even think we should actually ask it to do that for our clients as well, often if we're writing emails to them. Okay, just a bit of tongue in cheek. Then you can ask it to rewrite it in a different tone, as you already have seen. Again, that's just a couple of words I came up with. You can think of anything. Saying, I like that content, but just rewrite it, make it more light-hearted or more conversational or more humorous or more compelling, more professional, more creative, whatever. Okay, so you're starting to get the idea. You go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Again, just thinking of the prompts. So you could ask it for something, then you come back and you say, oh, I like that, but could you put it in a table? Oh, okay, I like that, but could you make it more humorous? Now, later on, you'll start sort of realizing that you can get that final answer you can get quicker by saying, I want this information, I want you to put it in table format, I want you to make it fairly humorous, etc. So you start being more specific and telling it what you want up front. But it doesn't matter in the start because you will get there anyway. Okay, let's get one or two ideas about social media posts before we start moving on to the advanced stuff. So let's just say, like just now, you had asked ChatGPT to help you get ideas for online marketing and so on and so on. And then it gave you a whole lot of ideas. And let's just say, as I said there, we said we're a bunch of real estate agents eager to take our businesses to new heights or whatever. It gives you a whole lot of ideas. And then from that, you think, okay, I like this. So let's just say, now you ask it, please write 20 Facebook posts aimed at homeowners thinking of selling. Also add an image idea to use with each post. This is just an example, all right? ChatGPT is going to give you a whole lot of content you can create. You take some of that, you say, let's create this, let's create 50 posts, 40 posts. Then you move on to something else, an idea it gave you, whatever you can think of. Okay, this is an example. So I say to ChatGPT, please will you write 20 Facebook posts aimed at homeowners that may be thinking of selling. And also add an image idea. So what image could I then use? What type of image could I use with this post, with each post? And there it goes. We're not going to go into detail, but let's just say, okay, it says, okay, here's a whole lot of posts. You don't have to use them all if you don't like them. So post number 1 that says, hi, are you thinking of selling? Here's where to start. If you're thinking about selling but not sure where to begin, you're not alone. The first step is understanding your home's current value. A proper property value estimate helps you make informed decisions without any pressure. Then it says, we offer free, no obligation property value assessments in Durbanville and surrounds. Send us a message and we'll arrange your free valuation, no strings attached. And then it gives me an idea. For an image, you could use an image of a friendly agent chatting with a couple over coffee at the kitchen table. So you've got that. So there's post number 1. Okay, use it, don't use it. And so it carries on, gives you a whole lot of posts. Is it a good time to sell in Durbanville? Same thing. This is now saving you time where you don't know what to write about. And even when you can think what to write about, how do you write it? Beautifully written, gives you the ideas for the images and everything. And later we're actually going to look at how you can now get those ideas done for you, those images. Okay, so it gives you the 20 posts. Did I ask for 20 years? Let's just say now, okay, now I'm happy with those posts. I think, oh, that's great, thank you. Ooh, wonderful content. But I think, okay, now they're all sitting there on ChatGPT. I don't want to go back to ChatGPT every time when I want to post. I'm maybe going to post 1 a day or 2 a week or whatever. So I say, okay, now I wonder if ChatGPT can just do this for me. Can you please put those 20 posts in a table with columns? First column for the heading, second column for the post content, third column for the call to action, and the fourth one for the image idea. And then bang, there it goes within seconds. Yes, there's all 20 posts. Firstly the heading, then the post content, then the call to action, and the image idea. I think, okay, that's great, but now it's still now on it. It's now in a table, which is easier for me to see, but it's still on ChatGPT, right? So then I say, okay, now I wonder, can ChatGPT do this? Can you create an Excel file for me that I can download? And it's no problem. It takes about 2 seconds, and it says, yes, here's your downloadable Excel file with all 20 Facebook posts. Sorry. You click on the link over there, you download it, and now you've got an Excel file that you can save on your computer. Exactly as the previous. Now it's sitting there. Now every day you can just open it, copy and paste, and add your image, and there you go. Just to prove a point, I mean, I'm obviously happy with the Excel file, but let's just say I don't like Excel for some stupid reason. I say, can you put it in a table in a Microsoft Word document that I can download? I'm just showing you the power really of ChatGPT. Yes, no problem. Click on this link to download your Microsoft Word document. You download it, and there it is now in a Microsoft Word document. And this is just the start. You're going to see the advanced functionality coming soon, which we're going to look at just now. Okay, just another example of something you could create. Really, I mean, there's endless examples. I'm just starting to show you. Let's just say, okay, now I've created a listing description for my property. Lekker, nice. Now, ChatGPT, I will give you the listing description. I say to ChatGPT, now please create 2 versions of a Facebook post for this listing, 2 Instagram posts, and an email that I can send to my database via database to inform them, obviously, of the new listing. And then 1 sold post, so that when I sell it quickly, I don't have to bother. I've already got a sold post to post as well. And then here it goes. Now, I haven't given it the listing description, so here we go. Conversation starts. Perfect, Andre. Please go ahead and share the listing description. And then I'll create the content formats as you mentioned, and it just confirms everything I've said. That's what it's going to make for me. Now you'll see it even start saying, I just asked for 2 versions of a Facebook post. It says, yes, I'm going to make 2 Facebook posts, each with a different angle. I'm going to make 2 Instagram posts with captions and suggested hashtags. So it even goes further than what you asked. And there it goes. So I add my listing description, and it's it. So now it's creating 2 Facebook posts. It might sound stupid, and I mean, this is a very simple example, but nevertheless, I didn't ask it to. But here it goes. It says, okay, the first Facebook post is future focused. So it concentrates more on what the property actually offers, what features there are. Beautiful post that I can go and post on Facebook with a couple of images of the property. Second Facebook post. So now, I mean, I can post 1 a week or 1 every few days, and it's not going to be the same post. So I've made a second post, and this one is lifestyle focused. So it's more about the lifestyle, the security estate, the suburb, or whatever. Again, with Instagram, same thing, and it adds the hashtags. See, this is one thing about ChatGPT, it's clever. So if I make a post for Facebook, I mean, I'm going to just post it everywhere, right? ChatGPT is clever. It knows there's different things that will get your post seen by more people. It also knows the demographics, the general demographics of what type of people are on every specific platform, and it just changes things subtly. And you see that the hashtags will change and so on. Anyway, so Instagram 1, and then Instagram 2 with the hashtags at the bottom, etc. Via email. So where I would usually just, I'm in a hurry. I mean, I'm listing my property. I'm doing this. I'm trying to create social media posts. Plus, I now need to let my buyer database know about this new listing. So I quickly type an email. I've got a new listing or whatever. ChatGPT in seconds just makes it much more professional. We're excited to share an exceptional new listing in the sought after bonsai estate. Gives a bit of details. At the bottom, you just insert your link. You'll see there. It says insert the link to the listing. And I've got a beautiful email that you can send out to your buyer database. Okay. And then the sold post. Again, congratulations to our happy sellers and excited homeowners and so on and so forth. Right. So that was just a little bit of a touch on content creation in this sense. As I said, we've looked at agent biography, listing descriptions, newsletters. You can create any sort of content. YouTube scripts, social media, email newsletters, etc. Okay, we can't look at them all today, but you just start asking ChatGPT. I want to create more content. Come on, give me ideas. What's going to work? I'm trying to target sellers in my area. I'm trying to target buyers or whatever, and you'll see what it comes up with, and then you take it from there. All right. So ChatGPT is going to give you content ideas that never end. Just a few more ideas you could ask it. Give me 50 topics for content that homeowners will find valuable. Give me 20 post ideas that showcase my town as an ideal place to live. For educational stuff, give me 10 reasons why sellers must use a real estate agent. You should actually make that give 50 reasons. Okay, problem solving. Help me write an article about the most common. These are just ideas, all right? Create an email newsletter that educates sellers about the whole selling process from A to Z, and so on. The possibilities are endless. Okay. Now, we're going to start going more advanced because here you're going to see the functionality that ChatGPT it's arrived later on. So in the start, everything was text-based in ChatGPT, basically like what we've been seeing now. And you can go back and anything text-based. But recently, not so recently, but it started becoming so much more supercharged. And you will supercharge your efficiency with ChatGPT in many facets of your life, but also in real estate. So we're going to touch on some of these now. We're going to look at the more advanced functionality that's available in ChatGPT at the moment, where it can actually analyze images for you. You show it an image. It's like showing it to a person. It's actually mind-blowing. You show ChatGPT an image, and it's like showing it to the person next to you and say, what's that? Or what's that? Or tell me what's going on here, or whatever. It can actually do that. It'll analyze documents for you. Makes your life so much easier. You'll see a few examples. Simplify complex laws, help you with write professional emails. I mean, you just say, man, this is what I need to say, or this is the email I received. I want to reply like this. It looks at that email and it writes a professional email for you. And then creating images. We're going to look at this now, and then much, much more. At the end, you're going to be mind blown about what you can do on the mobile app while speaking to ChatGPT. Okay. But we're going to touch on all of that. Right. Firstly, reading and analyzing images and documents. So this is where you actually give ChatGPT an image or give it a document and say, listen, tell me what's going on here, and you ask it exactly what you want to know. Let's look at some examples. Okay, firstly, within ChatGPT, there's a little plus button. It changes sometimes. It might look different now. So there where you would usually type something, you can hit the plus button and then you just upload files to it. So it's just like uploading files to anything. If you click there and from your computer, you choose the file and you upload it, whether it be an image, a PDF document, whatever you need. At the moment, we're going to work with images. So that's where you upload it, and then you type whatever you want to ask. So you'll see the image appear once it's uploaded, and then you say, okay, please look at this image and tell me this or this or this, or do this or this or this. Okay, let's get some examples. Let's just say, right, here's a practical example. So maybe you're doing a listing for a house, and as you're walking through it, and you're getting ready to advertise it, or you might be doing a valuation, and you notice this window, and you think it would be nice to give an accurate description of the property in your valuation report. It will impress the seller. But more importantly, you want to know things so that when you're taking buyers to the property and they ask you, what on earth is something? This is a stupid example, a simple example, nothing stupid. Okay, so let's just say now I'm at the house and I take a photo of this window because I'm not quite sure what to call it. I would simply say that looks like a double up and down sliding window. Okay, let's just say I don't know what it is. So I simply upload the photo into ChatGPT that I took. And then I type in the box, what is the correct name for these windows? And there comes the answer. They're called sash windows, specifically in this case, double hung sash windows with a Georgian grid style. Gives you a whole lot of features. And at the bottom, it even says, and the ones in your image appear to be of modern aluminium, etc., etc. Okay, so you get the idea now. You actually, suddenly you actually know things about this property that you didn't know, and possibly the seller didn't even know. And it's very often, it's dangerous to ask the seller about things in his property because he has his own name for things as well. Okay, here's just another example on the same trend. So here's a ceiling, very funny, knobbly ceiling. So maybe the seller would say whatever he thinks it is, if you ask him, but rather just ask ChatGPT. Okay, so I take a photo, good grief, what type of a ceiling is this? And I know the buyer is going to ask me, oh, I've never seen this before, what is this? So I simply put in the photo and I say, what type of ceiling is this? And there we go. The ceiling shown in the image is known as a popcorn ceiling, also known as an acoustic ceiling or a cottage cheese ceiling. Carries on to tell you about the texture and how it's made, and even when it was popular, 1950s to 1980s. And this specific property, this definitely was built in the 1970s. So very clever. Now, at the start, when I started doing things like this, obviously I was skeptical. So I mean, okay, this is now nice, but just because ChatGPT says it's a popcorn ceiling, how do I really know it is? Then I went to Google and I go to the images and I search for a popcorn ceiling, and then choose Bob, that's what pops up. A whole lot of images looking pretty much like this. Now I know it's a popcorn ceiling. But without ChatGPT, I wouldn't have known. I can't go to Google and give it the image. You can't do that. I can't give it the image and say, hey, Google, what type of ceiling is this? But I can at least go and double check it. Anyway, so I've stopped double checking because I realized by now, really, ChatGPT is just very, very accurate. Okay, just another example. Let's just say you're a younger agent or an older agent. You see this floor. Luckily, I know what floor that is. I'm very clever, but I'm still going to learn a lot, right? So you say, what type of floor is this? And there we go. It tells you it's a parquet wooden floor. It consists of wooden tiles arranged in a geometric pattern. It even says there's different types of variations, such as herringbone or block design. Now, that's something I didn't know. And then it tells you when they were popular and so on and so forth. So again, now at least if you didn't know what that was, people are going to ask you, because it's a solid wooden floor with funny blocks. What type of floor is this? Right. Here's a fantastic practical example that actually took place with me and Lydia. So we were asked to go and do a valuation of a farm not far from Durbanville. We didn't know the seller previously, had never met him. He phoned us up, asked for a valuation, and we had never been to the farm either. As we're driving down the farm road into the farm, we've got to go and meet the farmer. He said, meet us at the first shed you find. Driving down the road, there's all these orchards. It's a large farm. Orchards next to the road, all looking like this. So, of course, I say to Lydia, gee, Lydia's busy on her phone, as usual. Not looking up or down, she's just looking at her phone. And I say to Lydia, what type of trees are these? And she just looks up one quick glance, and she looks down at her phone again, and she says, they're guava trees. Of course, I roll my eyes. Oh, yeah, sure. Guava trees. But just to check, I think, okay. As I get out the car, Lydia's getting out that side. Farmer isn't there yet. I quickly just slip a quick photo without Lydia seeing, and I put it into ChatGPT. So I haven't got much time. This is now on my mobile. I quickly take the photo, load it right into ChatGPT. It's very, very quick. And I say to ChatGPT, I haven't got time. I can't type long. What is this? And there comes the answer. The trees in the image appear to be guava trees. Very, very funny. Well done, Lydia. Of course, it gives me the scientific name as well, which Lydia didn't give me. And I'm not going to allow her to speak here, because usually she'll say the only reason she didn't give me the scientific name is because I did not ask. Anyway, so there we go. Now we knew that, actually guava trees. And when the farmer arrived, I thought, hey, I'll go. I say, hello, I'm Andre. Lovely guava trees you have here. I was the one who confirmed the information. Okay. Take a look at this for an example. Just a very simple example. Let's say you're writing notes wherever you are, no matter what. But let's just say you're busy for the first time speaking to a property owner, and you want to at least, you want some information which you can put in your CRM so that you remember it later on, whatever. This is really just an example. I just scribbled quickly to test. So let's say you say, okay, so this is Jenny. She's from 174 Smith Street. She's got a daughter called Lisa, who's 10 years old. Birthday is 10th of January, son Peter. So you're busy taking notes, okay? More than this. Now you get back home and you think, gee, I'm going to go and type this in again so that I can put it into my CRM or whatever you use, maybe an Excel file. Okay. But you don't have to anymore. Now, previously, if you wanted anything to convert something like this into actual text, like on a Word document or whatever, you would need very expensive software. You would need the complete Adobe suite, which costs, I think it's 1,500 Rand, to be able to do it. It's got to have optical character recognition, and then it'll convert it to text. Now with ChatGPT, since recently, there you go. So this is a photo I took of a notepad. Go to ChatGPT, upload it into ChatGPT, say, please read this image and convert it to typed text. And there you go. Nice typed text, which I can copy and paste. It had it 100% correct. Obviously, you would double check it. It even had the 174 Smith Street correct, which I had sort of scribbled. Could have been a 2 or a 7. So that was quite impressive. And I wouldn't have blamed ChatGPT if it got it wrong. So you just double check it. There you go. Copy and paste. Put it in a Word document. Put it in the notes section of your CRM or whatever. So you're starting to see how powerful this can be. When in many, you can just use this. You've got to think out the box and just use your imagination. I mean, you could be at a 3-day seminar and you're taking notes in a notebook, and eventually you've got 2 notebooks full. Obviously, when you get back, maybe you would have actually locked it in a Word document. And then all you do is you take photos, put it into ChatGPT, and get it converted to text. Think out the box, think in your business, think anything, the possibilities of all of this. Okay, now let's take it a step further. Let's upload 10 images. You can only upload 10 at a time, but you can upload 10 and then another 10. Okay, it will start limiting you on the free version. Nevertheless, so here I've uploaded 10 images of a house, and I've simply said, please describe the rooms in these images. Now, you've already seen how it can identify things like popcorn ceilings and parquet wooden floors and guava trees. So now it's going to look at each image, and it's going to tell me what it sees in those images. So here, just because it's a lot, I just took a video just of me scrolling down the answer. So we're not going to harp on it. But please describe the rooms in these images. And then this is what the answer looks like as I'm scrolling down. So it goes and describes everything. It starts with the exterior, tells you what it sees. It starts with the kitchen, but now tells you what it sees, the dining and living areas, the indoor bright, and it's so accurate. You know, in the bright area, it'll tell you about the stacking doors and the garden it sees outside the stacking doors. And every single room tells you what it sees there. Aircon in this room, nothing in that room, bathrooms. And the difference is it does it with extreme accuracy, because as you saw previously, you know how well it reads things. So with a kitchen, it will tell you exactly what it sees, and stainless steel oven or a gas hob or whatever. So this is amazing. Now think now where this is actually going, if you think of it. Sorry. Just think of this, and you're going to be even more surprised what I'm going to show you later using the camera while live on ChatGPT. So, I mean, so you could now use this as your listing description, or say, okay, great, that's wonderful info. Now just convert it to a listing description, because it might be a bit too factual and whatever. But just look at the possibilities. It's amazing what technology is busy doing for us at the moment. Now you start seeing how much time you can save yourself. Okay, let's look at uploading documents. Okay, this was for instance, one example, and this was a real example. So this was a property we had here in Durbanville, a very big property. Lots of buyers were asking lots of questions. Okay, anyway, so we had a home inspection report done. As you know, I mean, we don't always want to have these done because they come up, you know, it's their job to find faults. Nevertheless, there was a 66-page inspection report. Now I think to myself, now this is just an example. So let's say I upload this, plus button, upload the PDF. It's 66 pages, and I say to ChatGPT, please can you summarize this 66-page home inspection report and highlight all the defects that may be of importance to buyers. So I don't have to go through all 66, there's photos and everything. And then there it goes. It says, great. So this is what we see. The inspection found the property to be generally in fair condition, but there are several maintenance and repair issues that should be considered before purchase. And it goes in to tell you about the roof. There's some missing tiles, and there's moisture and drainage issues. And tells you the certificates, which was mentioned in the report, that there's no electrical compliance certificates yet, or just, and so it goes through the exterior. So it's summarizing what it saw in that 66 pages in a page or two for me. Okay, so at least you've got an idea now what's going on there, and you can go and refer back to that section by section if you want more details. It talks about the interior, water penetration in the walls, whatever the report mentioned, it's summarizing. Okay. So from that, I say, oh, that's great. Now imagine every time I've got to send this report to buyers, I can sound very clever and say, okay, so send them a decent email sort of with a summary, always saying, please look at the complete report, but here's a sort of a summary of what I found in the report. So I say to ChatGPT, please write a covering summary email referring to the report that I can send to any interested buyers. So now it takes that information that it had found, creates a beautiful email. Within seconds, it says, hi, buyer's name. You'll put the buyer's name in. Thank you for the interest in this property. Attached is a comprehensive home inspection report completed by an independent certified inspector. The report provides a factual overview of the property's condition at the time of inspection. In summary, the home is generally in fair condition with several maintenance and repair items noted, mainly related to, gives a much shorter summary. And then it says these findings are typical for a home of its age. But then at the end again, it obviously says, please review the report carefully and feel free to contact. But now this is a lovely professional email, which at least already says this is the type of thing that's found in the report, and you can refer to the report for more details. Okay, making your life a lot easier and looking very, very professional to your buyers who might become sellers in future. So they will definitely be thinking of you as a top quality agent. Okay. Yeah, was a real example, life example again with me and Lydia. So the Bito municipality is where Plettenberg Bay is. Lydia had a client who wanted to buy property in Plettenberg Bay. He was very specific. He wanted the established areas near Robberg Beach, etc., etc. So Lydia lined up one of our agents, Anna Marie, in Plettenberg Bay to line up a whole lot of properties in the areas. And then Lydia actually went down there and showed them over 3 days, showed the buyer every single property they could find in the market in those areas. At the end of the day, he decided that none of the houses really took his fancy, but there was one vacant earth. This is the established areas. There was still one vacant earth left, and he wanted to buy that. But of course, he first wanted to know, at least, did ask Lydia, but what am I allowed to build here? What are the restrictions? What am I allowed to do, etc. So Lydia sent me a WhatsApp. I was still here at home in Cape Town, and asked me the same question. So I went to the municipality's website, found the zoning bylaws, which basically tells you what you're allowed to do on any specific piece of ground, depending on the zoning. This, of course, again, is, I don't know, hundreds of pages, and it'll tell you what you can do, whether it's single residential, you can do this. If it's zoned commercial, you can do that. If it's zoned agricultural, you know how these documents look. So again, I put it in here, and I simply said to ChatGPT, please read this document and summarize the building regulations specifically for single residential properties, because it obviously has the building regulations for all the different types of properties. Now ChatGPT goes and reads this document and finds everything for single residential properties and summarizes it for me. So here it says, this is what I found. So for single residential, you can do this. All the different things, how many dwellings, you can have a second dwelling up to 60 square meters, etc., etc. I'm not going to go harp on this. Gives you the coverage and the building lines that you're allowed to use. Even specifies them as the document did on earth sizes. So for a smaller earth, you're allowed 80% coverage. For a medium-sized earth, 65%. And the building lines differ. Side building lines, rear building lines. Gives me all this information. Even tells you where you're allowed to, the placements of doors and windows. So it went and found everything, but only for single residential, and it summarized it for me. So I thought, okay, that's great, lovely. I'm going to send this to Lydia, but then I think, now imagine now we send this to the buyer. I mean, how do I know that ChatGPT did this correctly, right? So all I do quickly is I say, thank you, ChatGPT. Can you now also provide the page numbers in the document where this info was found? So I say, great, thank you for the info you sent me. Now show me where you found it. Because then I can go and quickly double check. And it did that. It says, right, that information I found on page 40 and 41, the development parameters like the coverage, etc., 61 to 62, and the other things about height and floor restrictions I found on page 104 to 106. Now I can quickly go to the document, quickly go to those pages and say, this is all true, wonderful, I can give this information to my buyer. But I just take it one step further, right? Why not? Say to ChatGPT, please draft an email to my purchaser with a summary provided and referencing the page numbers in the document. And now look at this professional email. Hi, Mr. Smith. I hope you're doing well. As discussed, please find attached the BITO bylaws, which outlines the building regulations for single residential properties in Plettenberg Bay. To make it easier for you, I have summarized the key regulations below, along with the page numbers where you will find it. Look at this email. And it gives him all the things plus the page numbers, so he can look at the document and go and look at the pages. Beautiful professional email. And if you think about it now, this all took me minutes. The longest thing it took me was to actually find the BITO municipality's website and find the zoning bylaw document. Other than that, within 10 minutes before this buyer even gets back to his hotel room, this email will be sitting there. Do you know how professional that makes you look? He did buy this, luckily. He did actually buy that property. But imagine he hadn't. And imagine he moves on and buys another property through another agent. That doesn't mean that that agent is now his agent. One day when he sells, he's going to remember you, because this was just next level compared to what he was seeing from other agents. Okay, let's move on. Analyzing screenshots. So you can see now how it will analyze images, analyze documents, read documents, and those are just a few examples. Just a bit of practical help here. Again, analyzing screenshots. Imagine you're busy on your computer, you're busy whatever. In a Word document, you get stuck. In Excel, you don't know what the formulas, I don't know. But something you're getting stuck with on your computer right now, you simply take a screenshot. If you don't know how to take a screenshot, you simply take a photo, upload it into ChatGPT and ask it to help you. Here's an example. So at EXP, we've all got Canva Pro accounts, Canva for designing almost anything you can think of. But okay, so now just as an example, I will qualify myself here by saying I didn't know how to do this, but I'm just using it as an example. So here's a screenshot from Canva. So I'm in Canva, I chose a design for a sold house and I put the right photo in there, all very easy. And then I think, oh, but wait, I want our picture in there as well. So I drag our picture from my computer onto Canva. And of course, oh dear, this picture's got a background. So that's not going to work. But now I think, no, but it must be able to work. I want to remove the background. And I'm sure Canva can do it. I just don't know how. So now I don't want to go and watch videos and search for information. So I screenshot it. I upload it into ChatGPT like that. And I simply say, how do I remove the background from our profile picture? ChatGPT now looks at this image, sees it's in Canva, tells me exactly what to do. Ah, great. If you have Canva Pro, which you likely do, this is what you would do. If you don't have Canva Pro, it gives me another option. It tells me exactly what to do. I go and I follow those steps, 1, 2, 3, and I've removed the background. Perfect, ready to go. Just a simple example, but nevertheless. Okay, this was another example. I was creating a Google form much like the one you filled in to register for this. And I was creating a Google form, and there was a couple of agents involved. I wanted to share the details of the Google form with them. So I went into sharing, and then I think, oh dear, now I wonder what must I say, they viewers or commenters or editors. So I just think, no, this is easy. Take a screenshot, pop it into ChatGPT. I didn't even ask a question, dead serious. It can see there on the image, it says docs.google.spreadsheet. It can see where I am. It can see I'm looking at options, the editor options that I must tick. I didn't even say what I was asking, basically. And it said, here's a full explanation of the sharing options, tells me exactly, if you choose viewer, this is what they'll be able to do, and so on. Just another simple example. Within seconds, I'm sorted. So think of this with any program you're busy with. All right. On Canva again, because we use Canva a lot, just some more examples. How you could use ChatGPT with a design app like Canva to create content beautifully and quickly. Okay, so here's an example. Let's say I asked ChatGPT, as we did just now, to create a series of social media posts about something. Okay, so you would ask ChatGPT to create a series of social media posts about X, Y, Z, whatever you think of or whatever ideas ChatGPT has given you. Then you ask ChatGPT to export all that to an Excel file, as we've already seen me do. Then we take that Excel file and import it into Canva, because Canva has a bulk create function. So now I've got, let's say, 20 posts created by ChatGPT, all beautiful in an Excel file. I import it into Canva's bulk create function, and then Canva creates all those images for me. So here's an example. This is the Excel file. Here I actually asked, I think it was, create a series of posts about the selling process in South Africa, and created all nicely in sequence. Firstly, selling doesn't have to be stressful. Then you must know the market before you list. Then you must choose the right agent. Then you must get your home ready for buyers. Then strategic pricing is key. And then you've got to market it, etc., etc. Okay, so it gives me the post title and the captions. I import that into Canva, and it creates them all. You just basically don't connect text boxes to this Excel file, and then it creates them all. So in this case, obviously, I put in a background image, and I kept it the same for all the posts, because it's like a series. Okay, here's another example. So I said create a whole lot of posts with real estate quotes. I don't know, just an example. So it said, okay, great. Real estate quote number 1 is location, 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 and a good agent. And then a caption, because where you live matters, and who helps you get there matters even more. So it's location and agent. Second quote, a house is made of bricks and beams. A home is made of hopes and dreams. And then another caption, something more about that. And then I obviously, you'll see in the last column, I asked for image suggestions, because in this case, I want an image for each post, right? That sort of suits the post. And it gave me that. Now you go, put it into Canvas bulk create, and there you go. So I've got all these beautiful images based on that. Based on that. The only difference is the, wrong of that thing. Here we go. Now let's just look at, where can we go? Let me find the, let's look at the big picture. Okay, so sold isn't just the sign, it's a celebration. Look at the image. It's champagne glasses. Sort of people holding some champagne glasses in front of a house or something. Now, if I go to that post, it's actually right at the bottom. Sold isn't just a sign, it's a celebration. The image ideas ChatGPT gave me was 2 image ideas. One was a red sold sign in front of a home, or otherwise, hands holding champagne glasses in celebration. Okay. Now, what I'm going to tell you here is you're going to see me create images just now. I didn't just go and find those images now. I asked ChatGPT to create every single image for me. I'll show you just now how it's done, but basically, so now even that, I said, okay, I like that. Create an image of hands holding champagne glasses in celebration. And that is the image you see there at the top. Look at the second one. Owning a home is a keystone of wealth, both financial and emotional. But look at the image. It's like keys lying on papers, etc. So the second one from the bottom, owning a home is a keystone of wealth. The image idea that ChatGPT had given me was a good image would be a close-up of house keys on a contract. Okay, or a piggy bank. Okay, I used that. I said to ChatGPT, great. Please create an image of a close-up of house keys on a contract. And there it is. So I did with all these rolling hills, you will find them there. I asked it to create the images for me, and those are the images I used in this bulk creation. So again, using ChatGPT, creating Excel files, using it with Canva, bulk creating. Here I've got content again that you can drip out. This is just staying top of mind on my WhatsApp status, on your social media platforms, on your stories. So a whole lot of posts keeps me going for a while, apart from the other mixes that I put in between. You are getting the idea. Okay, using a ChatGPT with our CRM. In our case, our CRM is Propcon. We use Propcon in the XP, and Propcon is a fantastic digital business card setup that you can use. And it's, you can put in a lot of information. So this is something you can obviously send a link to your clients or whatever, so they can get all information. This is a very basic example, but I'm telling you how it also sort of comes together. So we've used ChatGPT to create our biographies. We've used ChatGPT to create listing descriptions. We've used ChatGPT to create content. Now on my digital business card, I also bring all that together. So this is just going to be a video. So this is what our digital business card pretty much looks like. And the link at the top there, agent.propcon, is stated Lydia Vorster. That's the link you send to people, and then they can come and look and get to know you and everything. And then you can do so much things in here, as you'll see there, all your social media links, etc. Okay, this is a video of me sort of scrolling down. So this is what clients would see when you send them this link. And this is where you'll see now the sort of ChatGPT coming in, what I created. And okay. So firstly, there you go, all your social media links, then the biography that I created, all these images in between. In my biography, ChatGPT created for me. Carry on, obviously, there's all sorts of links that we can create to different pages. People can contact us. The listings you saw there, and I'm going fast. And then at the bottom here, you can create articles. So this is my content. ChatGPT created the content for me. Okay, I made videos of it, which you might not do, but you can. Sorry, I think it's just like that. The point is, you're getting the idea how you start using ChatGPT to quickly really get yourself going in business. And look at that. I mean, I can create endless articles on here because I can create the content using ChatGPT. It doesn't have to be videos, it could be articles or whatever. And your listing descriptions, everything, your biography, it's endless. Okay, so you're starting to see how it comes together basically. Next, right. Talking about creating images, as you saw just now, I would take that description that ChatGPT gave me. Let me just see here. Somebody, sorry, can hear somebody's mic is on. Andre, now you're mic, but I'm muting you. That's fine. Accidentally put your mic on. Right, going back. Creating images. So you saw how we created images from the image ideas that ChatGPT gave us, which is great. Here's some other examples. I've had these for a while. Okay, simple example, but just look at the detail and you can get much more detail. So look at what I'm asking you to create. Please create a realistic photo image of a luxurious glass-fronted house with a lush garden and a modern pool with the Cape winelands in the background. And just to top it off, do this at sunrise. And this is what it created for me. And if you just look at the details, you'll see everything. Glass-fronted house, lush garden, modern pool, Cape winelands in the background. So you'll actually see vineyards and the Boland Mountains. Great stuff. And at sunrise. Anyway, so very, very accurate, quite impressive. As I always just do in our EXP presentations, because one of our mottos is we're the future of real estate. So just for fun, here's one: create a spaceship with a futuristic real estate agent standing on top of it, landing on the ocean with Table Mountain in the background, and then on a bright, partly cloudy day. Not a sunny day, not a cloudy day, a partly cloudy day. Look at the details. That's it created. Uses its imagination. There we go. Spaceship, Table Mountain, futuristic, and partly cloudy. Very, very accurate. And this functionality, I mean, it's actually very new in ChatGPT, and it's getting better and better and better every single day. Because as it's creating more and more for people, and they say, I don't like that. So it gets cleverer all the time. Okay. Now, that's creating images. How's about manipulating images? So you've got an image and you want something changed on it. How's about that? Here's an example. Imagine you go and see a seller and you've got the photographer and he told you everything would be perfect on Saturday for photographs, and you get there, excuse me, and the pool still looks like this. Oh, good grief. Now your photographer's there. He says, don't worry. The seller says, I've just put in 5 bags of chocolate. It's going to be blue by Monday. Okay, we're going to take him for his word. So the photographer sends me the photos, and I put the photo into, obviously the photographer can do it, but nevertheless. Please change the pool's water to sparkling blue, I asked ChatGPT. And there you go. There's that original and that one. If you go and see, it doesn't change much of the other stuff. It's absolutely changed the water. Beautiful. Okay. Another example. This is a real life example again. This is actually Lydia's brother. We were visiting there a while back in Gauteng. Okay. And he had just dug this pool, and he was sort of still couldn't decide what to put in there, what type of pool, etc. But he'd already dug the hole. So I said, well, let's ask ChatGPT for a couple of ideas. And at that stage, he still said, what's ChatGPT? By now, he's running his whole business on ChatGPT almost. So I simply said, this is very basic. Please create a modern design for a pool for the hole that has been dug as in the photo. I often, when I'm asking for things, I will say, do not change anything on the existing buildings, etc. We'll see it in another example as well. The ChatGPT sometimes likes to spruce other things up as well, and I don't want it to. I want only the pool. Okay, and that was what it gave me. We actually got a whole lot of ideas, so you can be more specific about what type of pool you want, or ask ChatGPT what types of pools could we get, and then ask it to create those for the hole. So we had a whole lot of ideas, and anyway, so he has his pool in now, and that was the idea that. This was one of the ideas that ChatGPT gave us. So you start seeing how you can also use this for your clients. I mean, they're there and they say, you know, I'm thinking of doing this, or I want to do my kitchen, get a whole lot of ideas for the design for the kitchen, take a photo, ask ChatGPT. Don't tell your sellers you're going to use ChatGPT, just give them the ideas later on. Okay. How's about this? Now, staging of homes. Again, this is software you could buy, and they'll probably charge you just for that software $30, $40, $50 a month, so you can stage your home. So now ChatGPT is already doing it for you. A while back, it was battling still. These days, very accurate. Again, a simple example. This is just an empty living area in an apartment. I said, can you furnish this room, please, without making any changes to the actual walls or floor or any other part of the structure? And I didn't give much detail. I just said modern lounge furniture. Very important, I always say don't change the walls or floors, etc. And when I get the photo, if I'm going to use it in my marketing, you can use it because it's just furniture you've added. You haven't changed anything. It's as though you took photos when there was a tenant in, and later on when the buyer is looking, it's empty. Nothing wrong with that. But you must make sure it's not changing anything else, because then it's false advertising. So anyway, there it goes. I just asked for modern furniture. This was its idea. You could be more specific. Then I always just double check. I did ask, don't change anything else. I go back and forth. I look at the light fitting. I look at the tiles. You go back and forth. Just make sure nothing else has changed. Nothing has changed. It's just added furniture, which is great. So it's much better for my marketing purposes. And there you go. So you can even stage homes. You can do so much. This was just a fun example. We had a WhatsApp group for a couple of us arranging something which we were going to be doing in Port Elizabeth, a couple of us agents. And one of the agents, Shelley, sent us, put this image on our WhatsApp group that we had created as a profile picture. It's supposed to be, there was 4 of us, James and Shelley, myself and Lydia. I didn't like it though. I thought, that looks very dreary. I said, Mum and Shelley. So I asked ChatGPT, please modify this image to show the 4 robots all celebrating their huge success. This is just for demonstration purposes. ChatGPT took that and made it much more enticing. Same robots, different expressions, joyous, just for fun. Okay. Okay, another example. We were actually in Umhlanga doing presentations. I do these presentations all over the country often. We were at an EXP event, and I did a sort of shortened ChatGPT one. Now, Andrew Thompson is our sort of South African EXP principal. So I just quickly uploaded his headshot and the EXP logo. And then I said, please turn Andrew into a superhero flying over Umhlanga rocks with the EXP Realty logo on his chest. That's why I had the logo in. And Umhlanga rocks is where we were doing the presentations. Plus, it's where Andrew is. It's actually his hometown. And there you go. That's what it created for me. Everybody had a good chuckle at this presentation. And that is Umhlanga. That's the lighthouse. Actually, the hotel where we were doing the presentation was right here looking at the lighthouse. So that's very impressive, but also just a bit of tongue. It just gives you an idea of how powerful ChatGPT is becoming in all senses. All right. Sorry. I'm just going to take a sip. Sorry. Right. Now, voice interaction with ChatGPT. So you can use your voice to interact with ChatGPT on both the website and on the mobile app. There is more functionality in the mobile app, but most of it you can do on both. So what can we do? Firstly, speech to text. So instead of typing, as I've been doing all the time, in the prompt box, where you're going to type, please do this for me and that for me, and sometimes it gets a bit long. Instead of typing, I can just speak to ChatGPT and have it converted into text for me. So, speak, this is what I want you to do. Please do this, this, and this. And when I hit the enter button, it comes up in text. I make sure it's correct and I enter. So it saves me having to type long prompts or long instructions. But I can also have voice conversations with ChatGPT where we're actually speaking to each other. Now, this is lovely, well, in any situation really. But now when I speak, it's not converting it to text. I'm speaking to ChatGPT and ChatGPT is answering me in a voice, in a human voice almost, right? And we have a conversation back and forth like you would with a friend. Very handy if you're getting into the car. Put your phone there, start a conversation, because the conversation doesn't stop until you stop it. So you can have put it in the car, now you're driving, but you're not on your phone. And you can have a wonderful conversation with ChatGPT, starting off with whatever you want to eat tonight and need recipes, or you've only got this in the fridge, what can you make with it? And then you start talking about your child's homework, and then you carry on because you're on your way to evaluation appointment. You start with that, or even role play with ChatGPT. Tell him, ask ChatGPT to be a difficult seller because you're going to price counsel someone, and you just get this whole conversation. Okay, I'm babbling, I know, but that's what you can do. And then we're going to show you just now how, while you're speaking to ChatGPT on your mobile, you can even activate your camera and show ChatGPT what you're seeing and have a conversation about that. Or you could even share your phone screen. So if you're busy with something and you're battling, quickly go into ChatGPT, share that screen, say, can you see my screen? Yes, I'm busy on Instagram and I don't know where to go into the menu to do this or that, or to retrieve my save this or whatever. Okay, any app you're busy with, you can share your screen and get information about that. Okay, just for information purposes, here you'll see on the right-hand side, this is if you're on your mobile, and you're going to see now it's pretty much the same on your PC. There are two buttons. So there's the message box where you type. That's where we type the prompt, right? But on the right-hand side, you'll always find two buttons. One is a little microphone. I've indicated it with a blue arrow. That microphone is to convert to text. So if I hit that microphone and I speak, then when I'm finished, it'll convert it to text as though I had typed it. And the other one, which looks like a sound wave, that is to have the voice conversation. As soon as you hit that, the conversation will carry on between you and ChatGPT until you stop it. Okay, sorry. Oh, come on, check. Okay, I can't play this recording because you will not hear the sound. So I'm going to go live now. Give me one moment. Let's first go into the PC. So here I'm going to hit the little microphone you see there, which says dictate. So this is going to be to go from voice to text. I'm just going to do a simple one first, then we can maybe read a bit of an example. We just first make sure it's working correctly. Hello, ChatGPT, how are you? Now I hit the button and I'll see what I typed and I'm happy and I can submit it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to carry on with the conversation. I'm going to read this, which I've just written here. So this is just, it'll firstly demonstrate the functionality of going from voice to text, but then it's also going to even provide content that I wanted. Right, so an email to a seller of mine. So listen to this. I'm going to actually read it off a text I've got here. Very plain. I sent my seller a low offer on his property. He was very disgusted that I could send him such an insulting offer. Please help me to draft a polite but factual reply to my seller, explaining that I have a duty to take and present all offers to him. And also add that sometimes buyers make cheeky offers to try their luck, but then end up paying a fair price in the end. So let's just give it some thought and decide together how we are going to respond to the buyer. So I click the button there and the text will come up. You can just check now. You imagine again. So if I wanted to type this, it would take me ages. So I quickly spoke it. It's typing it for me. Okay, I'm not going to read through it. I'm going to assume it's right and then submit it. So now it is really as though I had typed that. And it's going to now give me my answer. So I've given it this scenario. It's also good to actually see the reply I get because it's very, very good. So now it's going to write an email to my seller. And this is a difficult email, which I would spend hours because, you know, you're upset with your seller and he's upset with you because you send him low offers. Anyway, here's the reply that ChatGPT gives. Let's go through that. Hi, seller's name. Thank you for your feedback regarding the offer. I completely understand that it feels disappointing when a buyer submits a figure that seems far below expectations. However, as your agent, I have a legal and ethical duty to present every offer I receive, regardless of the amount. Sometimes buyers make what we call cheeky or testing offers. They try their luck to see how motivated the seller might be. In many cases, these same buyers later return with an increased and much more reasonable offer once they see that the seller is open to engaging. So let's give it a bit of thought before making a decision. We can either respond with a counter offer or decline formally, but I'd like to discuss what approach would best serve your goals. Please let me know when you're available to chat and we can plan the way forward. Okay, lovely, lovely, beautiful, professional email. So I wouldn't have put it as nicely. So it's very good. And the seller will obviously also calm down once he reads it like this. Okay, so it's a bit of a double whammy. I'm showing you the functionality as well as how good ChatGPT responds for us. Right. Now, next, I'm going to go the voice. I'm not going to do this on the, I might as well. No, you won't hear it. Sorry. Now I'm going to go onto my phone. Make sure volume's up so that you can hear. So I'm going to, if you look at the PC there, I mean, the little sound wave, I'm going to be doing that on the phone, right? So that's a conversation. You with me? So I'm going to just start this conversation with ChatGPT. Let me just quickly get this all running. Make sure that's on. Give me 1 minute. Okay, ready, volume up. Hope you can hear this. Just start a conversation. Okay. Hi, ChatGPT. I hope you're well. Is it possible that Lydia is really always right and I'm always wrong?
Hey there, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And you know, I think that's one of those eternal mysteries of life. Sometimes it just feels like our partners have a sixth sense for being right, but in reality, it's probably more about teamwork than who's right or wrong. So let's just say you both have your moments of brilliance.
Oh, thank you. That helps a lot. I'm gonna get Lydia to listen to this note as well. Now tell me, can you give me 20 post ideas for Facebook? Or first give me a few ideas of what types of posts I should post on Facebook if I'm thinking of attracting sellers in the area.
Absolutely. And I'm glad Lydia might get a kick out of that note too. So when it comes to attracting sellers on Facebook, you want to mix of posts that highlight your expertise, share local insights, and build a bit of trust and personality. For example, you could post homeowner tips, share simple tips for preparing a home for sale, staging advice, or even seasonal maintenance reminders. Local market updates, do a quick video or infographic on what's happening.
Thank you, ChatGPT. We'll carry on with that conversation later. Just one last thing. My son is in an Afrikaans school and he needs to do an essay in English about global warming. Will you be able to help us with that for a grade 10 student?
Of course, I'd be happy to help with that. We can definitely put together a nice, straightforward outline or even a sample essay that suits a grade 10 level. Just let me know any specifics you want to include and we'll get started.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And would you be able to do that in Afrikaans if necessary?
Absolutely. I can definitely do that in Afrikaans if you need it. Just let me know if you want the whole essay or any part of it in Afrikaans, and I'll switch over for you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, you're getting the idea. I'm going to start a new chat because now I want to show you some amazing functionality. Just going to get out there. Now, while speaking on this voice conversation, I'm going to activate my camera, and you can show ChatGPT pretty much anything, wherever you are, and then speak to it about that. So it's like having a friend right there with you and saying, hey, look here, what's that? What's going on here? Whatever, right? There's not much I can do here, but I'm going to do something. Okay. So I'm going to start the voice conversation. As soon as I see it's active, I'm going to start my camera because this is only on the paid version. So as soon as I start the voice one, I will see a camera icon, which you won't see on the free version. And then I start that, and then I'm going to speak to ChatGPT. So watch this. Activating the voice. Hi, ChatGPT, can you see my camera? Can you see what I see?
Yes, I can see what you're showing me. Looks like you've got your laptop and a monitor stacked on top of it, and you're working on some kind of presentation or document. So I've got a good view. Let me know what you need.
Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, looking at my laptop here, I see there's a whole lot of funny keys at the top called F1, F2, F3, all the way up to F12. What are those keys for?
Absolutely. Those keys at the top are your function keys. So F1 through F12 can do all sorts of things depending on the program you're in. For example, F1 often opens up a help menu. F5 might refresh a page in a web browser, and some of them control things like volume or screen brightness on your laptop. They're basically
okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm just going to show you this quickly. What is this structure over here?
Sure. So I can see you've got a white shelving unit or kind of a cubby shelf there on your left. It looks like it's holding some books, maybe a plant or two, and a few decorative items. So it just looks like a nice little storage or display shelf you've got there.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Always happy to help. If there's anything else you want to show me or ask about, just let me know.
Okay. You get the idea. So you can now imagine where this is going in the future, right? I mean, if you could just think about this. Right now, I can only do 5 minutes of this a day on the paid plan, but it's all happening fast. So in the future, can you imagine I just go into a house which I'm going to list, and I just activate my camera and say, okay, ChatGPT, I'm going through a house. Please take note of everything you see so that later on we can do evaluation and later on we can compile a proper listing description for the portals. Okay, then I just walk through, right? I'm walking and I just show ChatGPT everything, and as you saw, it recognizes everything. It'll completely document everything it sees, etc. So that's where it's going. Okay, now I just want to quickly share here again. So I am still sharing. So there you'll see we are still on the original one, which I did voice to text. Now, if I go out and I just refresh my ChatGPT, and the same you can do on the phone, you'll see that whatever was, I'm just going to go new chat. So it's syncing because I'm logged into my ChatGPT on the PC and I'm logged into it on my phone app with the same login details, right? So they're going to be able to sync. I just have to refresh. So now you'll see that, okay, obviously everything on the PC I did here. And here, just look at the last one. Well, there's the always right of teamwork. Now you'll see, if you look at that, this was a voice conversation I did on my phone, but now you can also see it on your PC later on. So you can go there, you can go and copy and paste or whatever. You'll see this, the format has inverted commas, so you will know that was actually a voice conversation. But there's the whole voice conversation in text, now also on your PC. And the same, that was the camera visibility check. You'll see, I asked, can you see what I see, etc. Now it's available on my PC as well. So all synced, last cross-device continuity. Okay. So yeah, whatever's on your phone, you'll also see later on your PC and vice versa. All right, we're coming to the end now, pretty much quickly. I'm not going to go into too much detail. There's so much more on the paid version, especially where you can have custom GPTs. I mean, I create custom GPTs. Yeah, it's difficult to explain, but you create a custom GPT where you actually can send that link to someone, and when they go into that GPT, it's like ChatGPT, but I have instructed it how to answer. So I, for instance, have got custom GPTs I send to my buyers and sellers if they have property questions and I'm not available. I say, have a look here so long, we'll chat just now, and ask him. Then I send them this, and I have trained that GPT with everything, all the South African property laws, the PPRA laws, the code of conduct. And then you also saw I do a whole lot of educational videos about buying and selling. I took all my video scripts, put them into a document, and I trained this custom GPT and told it exactly how it must answer people. So it will only use that information, doesn't go and find somebody else's information when answering my clients. And then it'll also, every now and then, it'll say, should I get Andre to contact you, or maybe we need more info, etc. So it's also sort of generating the lead the whole time. That's just an example. Okay, there's so many examples, and we can't go into it too much. Here's an example, just exactly like that, a custom GPT that you train. Now, a chatbot is pretty much the same thing. The reason I'm showing you all this is you must not get left behind. So that's why you must know, learning to use ChatGPT, learning to prompt properly, learning to converse with it, learning to stay up to date with the features is very important. So at EXP, we all have the ability to create our own little office online if you want. So this is all aimed at the future. So this is my office, for instance, mine, Lydia's office. You can go and browse around there. Again, this is a link I send to somebody, and they can actually go in there as a guest. Or I can go in there and I can meet them there and I can show them things. I've got my videos up there. I've got our OTPs up on the walls. You can page through them and discuss them, listings, everything. But I've created a chatbot. Now, this is exactly the same as a custom GPT. It's just a bot. So it looks very impressive. The same thing. People converse with this bot, talk to this bot, text this bot, and I've trained this bot how to answer. So I can send people, they actually love going in here. It's like a novelty, running around, looking at things, speaking to the bot. And then I'm usually, you get notified if somebody goes in, because I mean, I'm sending the link to all sorts of people. Anyway, it's the same as a custom GPT. That's the point. So you need to get your head around these things. You don't have to get this advanced, but try and stay up to date with the basics. That's what we're trying to do. Because the future is already here. Chatbots is going to be the next thing. That's your 24/7 availability online. You can train bots to be exactly who you are in your answering of things and so on. So that's just really where it's going, and we need to stay up to date with everything. Okay, I'm going to skip past that, because I want to show you, just in closing, just a bit of fun. So I asked ChatGPT, you will see there, it's a long thing. I said, I want to create a nice upbeat song, sort of in the style that I would sing about our roles as real estate agents. Must be a bit of tongue-in-cheek humor about the many roles we are expected to play, and so on. So I asked it to create a song about agents. And it did. It created the song, lyrics, beautiful, sort of like it thinks ABBA would have created. So all the lyrics in verses and so on. What I now did is I took those lyrics, copied them, and I went to a site, you can write this down, called suno.com. That's SUNO.com. There you can put in your own lyrics and it will sing it for you. Okay, so just for a bit of extra fun, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to have to close this. I'm going to share the right things. So I created the lyrics in ChatGPT. I went to Suno and asked it to sing it for me. So I did it. Oh, where's my? close that. I just want to quickly share, present something else. Here we go. So I dedicate this song to you. Please will you give me a thumbs up if you do hear the volume when I start playing it. I'm going to start playing it now. I think I need to switch off my microphone.
We're part-time shrinks and marriage guides. We juggle dreams and moving tides. We fix the lights, fluff all the beds, then talk some sense in buyers' heads. We stage with style, we scrub and sweep, and give advice for free, not cheap. We're tour guides, planners, child entertainers. We deal with cats, alarms, and angry neighbors. We calm the nerves, we pour the tea, and act like therapists professionally. We know the laws, the cracks, the zones, and still reply when you text our phones. We chase approvals, figure docs, explain what stoots and climbing costs, negotiate like pros with flair while sellers change the price mid-air. We dodge delays and pray each day, may the buyer's bond come through. We say we know the laws, the cracks, the zones, and still reply when you text our phones. We chase approvals, figure docs, explain what stoots and climbing costs, negotiate like pros with flair while sellers change the price mid-air. We dodge delays and pray each day, may the buyer's bond come through. We say, oh, we do it all and still look grand, smile on our face, contract in hand. From morning show to late night call, we're agents, baby, we do it all. And just remember, with all that flair, we only get paid if you get there.
There we go, dedicated to all you wonderful property practitioners, including myself. I hope that helped you a little bit. Very insightful. Start using the technology. It's really easy, and then you will stay up to date, because this is where everything's going. It's not going to be only ChatGPT. You're going to be conversing with machines to get things done. So anyway, if you've got any questions, you're very, very welcome to ask. If you've got questions you don't want to ask me, just ask ChatGPT. Okay, people, if that's it, then I see there's a whole lot of messages. Thank you. No questions there. Thank you. It's such a pleasure. It's been a blast. Good grief, it's been almost 2 hours. Can you believe it? Well done on sticking it out. All of you are still here. I will definitely be sending out the recording. So you have a wonderful rest of the week, and happy ChatGPTing, and good luck in your businesses. I'm going to say goodbye.